We're going to have a look at how to quickly plot a course to steer, to take our boat from our current position, somewhere out here, to a waypoint on what's called the leading line into Coalville Harbour, before we enter the harbour. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a waypoint, which we mark with a hash sign and WPT, on the chart where I want to end up. The next thing I do is mark my current position. So I'm going to get that from my GPS chart plotter, and it's telling me that my boat is right here. So I put a dot on the chart and a circle around it, and we call that our fix, our current fix. The next thing we do is draw a line from our fix to the waypoint and well beyond it. Just draw a nice straight line there, and we can come as far as we like. I'm going to put 2 arrows on that line because this is my desired ground track where I want the boat to actually go. Now, things that are going to affect me are the tide and the wind pushing me off course. So the most important is the tide. So I work out what the current tidal situation is so I can plot the tidal stream. And looking at my data, it tells me the tide is currently running in a direction of 320 at 2 knots, so 2 miles an hour. So I take my Portland plotter here and I dial 320 so that it's on the 0 in the direction of the course. I then put the side of the plotter against my fix and I manoeuvre it so that the north arrow on the central bezel is pointing directly up. These grid lines also help us to line it up. I then draw a line from my fix up the chart in the direction 320, and I'm going to put 3 arrows on that because that marks to show that it's my tide. Now I said it's moving, the tide's moving at 2 knots, that's its rate. So to work that out, I come to the side of the chart, and on the latitude scale, each minute of a degree is 1 mile. So 2 of those minutes I mark off with my dividers, transfer it over onto the chart, and then mark off my 2 miles. So that's how far the tide would take us. The final part of the equation is to know what our boat speed is going to be. So I'm anticipating doing a boat speed of 8 knots. I come back to the latitude scale, and with my dividers I'm going to mark 8 miles off. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8. Take my dividers over to the end of my tidal stream, and then the other end intersects or cuts the ground track. Where that ends, put another little mark. Now I take my plotter, and from the end of my tide to that intersect mark, I'm going to draw another straight line. Okay, I now dial the Portland plotter arrow up to north and read off the course from the 0 here, and that says 246 degrees. So 246 true. I'm just going to put 1 arrow on there to show that that's the water track, or where I expect the boat to go, or direction I expect the boat to point in, and that's 246 true. Now we would make further adjustments for magnetic variation and deviation, and if we had a strong wind, we'd also need to adjust our heading for leeway. But that's a simple way to plot your course.